Hey, Kenny. You said before the game that you just needed Donovan Mitchell to beat Donovan Mitchell tonight. In what way do you feel like that manifested itself?
He was better than Donovan Mitchell. Is that possible? I don't know if I can. That's like bad English. He started with him. His defense, rebounding, and then when he gets in the paint and starts making other people better, the dish-offs to our big guys, that was the key, I felt like, to the game. So he had complete control of the game. Listen, man, I couldn't be happier for him. To make that next step. He's going home, to New York. He kept this thing together this year when things weren't going great. He was the beacon, the light. His leadership, he carried us on the court, right? Sam Merrill out 30 games, Evan out, J.A. out. He was the guy that carried us. And then when things weren't going great, he was the person everyone looked to. And his positivity. And I would have said this if we lost. I had a plan. If we lost, I was going to say the same thing. We could have splintered. If your leader splintered, if he goes in another direction, which he very well could have, things weren't going great, but he stayed positive. He supported the young guys. He never got down on the group. So just, kind of more kudos to him, in terms of getting to that, the level he wanted to get to, and I know he wants more.
Game 7 on the road, given all the pressure and all the stakes, what does a performance like this show about this group?
When we play with force, it's really the key. Like force on both ends. With our talent, we're really hard to beat. What we got to answer, the question we got to answer, and we talked about in the locker room is, we can have force letdowns. Like Game 6, where we were not the forceful team, but tonight we were. That was the whole difference, our force on both ends.
Kenny, understanding that this group has larger goals than just winning this game and advancing to the conference finals, this is a place that this group has not yet been. What does this accomplishment mean to you and to this group?
It's like, and everybody says, it doesn't mean that. No, it does mean something. I think it does. I think this was the next step for us. First day of training camp, I put up our playoff record over the last 3 years, 11-15. I've been saying all year we have a lot to prove. And we still have more to prove. That's kind of the next part of it. But we proved something to ourselves that we could take that another step. Just looking forward to this next challenge for us.
What is it with Jared Allen in Game 7s?
I don't know. I had dinner with Dan Gilbert last night. He came over to our hotel, and he goes, "You know who the key to this whole thing is?" I was thinking Harden, Mitch. He goes, "The key to this whole thing, the spark of this is Jared Allen." I said, "Really?" And that sparked me to run the first play for him. I'm like, man, have I been, sometimes you have, people who observe from afar, plus Dan knows the team well and knows these guys. It was really, I was like, man, I went to my room. I'm like, man, I'm going to run the first play for him, which I think got blown up with. But anyway, I'm like, man, we got to, and in our film session, we had to reward the big. Sometimes you have to be reminded. And that was great by Dan. He hit it on the head. He was prophetic.
Just felt like from the first quarter, you guys, to your word, like played with force. Mitchell was sort of distributing the ball. Just like what do you think led to that? Why do you think that you guys just kind of came out sort of hitting first from the jump?
You said it, Mitchell distributing the ball. I think that was a big part of it. Listen, I can't say I predicted that we were going to do that. Like Game 7, their arena, the crowd was, and it was across the board, right? I think we knew that start was monumental. The start, that they knew that we were here, and that we were going to give them some problems, And we talked about it today. We talked about it in our film session. At the beginning of the game, that was key. And then coming out of halftime is the same, same message. We got to win this first 5 minutes, to put them on their heels.
Kenny, how can you describe the role that Sam Merrill played in this Game 7?
I don't know. Let's go down as the Sam Merrill, Jared Allen game. Above games. He was unbelievable because I thought we weren't like rolling. Until he came in the game, and his threes, I think, kind of opened things up. And he took the charge on Thompson, right? Got his tooth knocked out or whatever. But you've seen it all year. That guy, a winner. But I felt he helped us kind of give us breathing room. To push the lead forward.
And then for you, just, personally, professionally, how are you kind of processing going to the conference finals with this team in your second season and just, obviously having to get past JB?
I'm proud. I mean, JB's a great coach, so, but I do think that's, when someone hires you, you want to fulfill what they were looking for. You want to, so I was like, coming into this game, man, I'd love to get to this next level. Just, to say that we did a good job as a coaching staff, and then, we helped this group of players that I love to the next, to make another step. So, yeah, definitely proud of it. And then, I'm a New Yorker. Me and like going back to the Garden, like, worked for the Knicks. I mean, it's pretty, know everybody there. My whole, I got, ton of family. My whole family's there, really, basically. So that's special.
Kenny, were you able to take that in, that scene after the game with all the fans?
That was so cool. I mean, I think I heard 25 buses came to the game, and I've never seen that in the NBA, where a visiting team, brings that many people and they're present. Like we heard them. Now we were making shots, and obviously, the Detroit fans were not jumping, but our people were. I just can't believe how good the seats were that they gave. Like, usually when you bring buses, they're like, they put you in, like, we had good seats. I mean, that was so cool behind the bench. I think the players and the coaches appreciated it so much.
And then for you, all season we've talked about the depth of this team, and you mentioned Sam Merrill and his production. How important is it going to be moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals for your starters to be the stars that they are, for your role players, though, to step up in any given moment and kind of share that load?
Yeah, I think that's how you get. That's how the playoffs are. You need a Sam Merrill game. You need a Dennis Schroeder game. What was Toronto Game 5? I believe it was. Basically, saved our season. Max Strus has a huge game. Like this is everyone. I know you got put stars and James and but it's like it's these big games. I mean, Sasser had a big game. I thought that really that was like the key. He came in and gave him that boost. So super important. We're going to need that. And I don't know where it's going to come from. I was actually planning on playing more players tonight, but we were rolling so well because I wanted to find another spark on the bench. But, we kind of felt like, the group we had was rolling. But I was definitely thinking about adding that spark that you're talking about. You got to have it in the playoffs.
Coach, two things. What does a rested New York Knicks team What kind of challenge does that present?
I mean, they're rested and they're a juggernaut right now. I mean, that's just that's what it is. It's hard to blow out teams in the playoffs like they've been blowing out to, point differential means something in this league. So, I don't know. We got to get on the film and look what, I know Cat's playing great. Everybody's playing, they're playing great basketball. So, but we got to try to go in there and steal game one somehow,
And also Donovan's going home. What do you think that means to him?
It's all of it. I mean, Donovan never wants to celebrate himself. We always celebrate individual accomplishments after the game, and he always defers to the other guys. Like tonight is for him because of that. He's going home. First time to the conference finals. All that he did for us this year, carried us, carried the team, carried the coaches on his back. And like I said, if we lost by 20 tonight, I'd be saying the same thing because I had it. I'm like, we have to acknowledge the incredible season this guy had, not only on the court, but from a leadership standpoint.
Kenny, turnovers were such a big story in the playoffs. Your starting backcourt combined for 1 tonight. How big was that?
That was part of the start we were talking about. We can't turn it over 4 times in the first 5 minutes. It's like it just gets him going, and I do think the tactical adjustment we made was avoiding Thompson. We were just like, if he's near the ball, throw it to someone else. And I've never experienced that in the NBA. And one of you guys said it the other night, this guy the best, him and his brother, I guess. Like, I've never seen anything like it, where even if you have a great player with the ball and he's on it, pass it to someone else. And I think, we had Evan handle it more than ever this series because of him, because of Thompson. And they have other good defenders too. It's just, that was huge, not turning it over.
And then the narrative in the first part of the playoffs was that you couldn't win on the road. Last 2 road games, you had a huge comeback in Game 5 and the blowout tonight. How much confidence does that give you going into New York?
Yeah, I think that's where this team's taken another step, right, from a mental toughness, resilient. I'm telling I give Kobe and the front office credit, bringing James Harden and Dennis and Keon. It changed our mental makeup. Became more mature, more poised, and a more mentally strong team.
Last one, Joby.
You mentioned it. What's it like to have dinner the night before a Game 7 with the owner?
It's the coolest thing. And it was like a surprise. Like, he just kind of surprised us. And, I'm not having dinner with Dan every night, right? It's kind of special. Like, that was cool that he did that. He made the effort, to come see us. And then, he just had some sage advice, right? Like, it's like, man, this guy's probably knows the team better than me. He knows these guys better than me. And I tell you, made me think, especially the JA thing. I was like, JA's the key to this? You sure? He was right.
And then, look, I know he's a Detroit guy, and he's had some buses come up here throughout the series. But to make a gesture like he made tonight, doesn't that say, like, at some level of how much he believes in this group? Like, to say, hey, I'm bringing 20-plus buses here for a Game 7 that you might lose.
Yeah. I think it speaks to, watching how this organization operates, how he, like all the little stuff on the margins he believes in. Like, every little thing counts. And if he thought that was going to give us just a tiny bit boost, which he obviously did, he's going to make the effort, and it, not him. I mean, there's a whole group, right, that made that possible. And like I said, Joe, I've never seen that in the NBA. College maybe, and it mattered. I think it mattered. I think it helped. I think our guys would agree.